1990, we had 15,000 people living in Davidson, Cornelius, and Huntersville. In 2013, we had 89,000. I was at the nuclear plant recently, Pat McCrory, talking to the guys from the NRC about the plans for evacuation, if that should happen. We have sirens going off all the time, you know, all those warning signs. And if it really is serious business, we've got a serious problem. I don't know how you're going to get out of there. If you have four people per car in 1990, you would only need 3,900 cars to get out. Now you need 22,000 cars to evacuate just in these three towns. That would be 14 feet per car. That's 59 miles of automobiles that you're going to have. And if you don't get these roads adequate to get people out of there, if you live out on the peninsula, you better get your hazmat suit, because you're not going to get out.
I moved here almost 5 years ago, and we picked this community because of the cute towns of Cornelius and Davidson, and we had no idea about the toll plans. Had we known, we would not have moved here. We would have gone wherever there were not going to be toll roads. And we had experience of those toll roads. Parsons Brinkerhoff built them out in Colorado. And the tolls went from $8 to $18 round trip, the same amount of miles that they're looking at here. So I immediately recognized the problem that this was, especially with them being public-private partnership toll roads. P3s socialize the losses and they privatize the profits. Given the impact that this is going to have on our community and also for our safety, I ask you to please make a genuine and successful effort to stop the tolls now and forever. My father and my grandfather were also public servants. My father was a mayor and my grandfather was a county supervisor. When I got involved in politics, I got to Google their names and see what I found. I was grateful to see that I was very proud of what I found. I ask you to consider the legacy that you're going to leave behind, the decisions that you make today, and when your kids and grandkids Google your names, will they be proud? We're all looking to you to please represent us. For a while, it was a small group of people that divided I-77. I'm so proud of this community with how they have all come together. We had a great time. It was actually a family event up there on the bridge with the protest. And I'm so proud to see all those people, all different ages, political parties, walks of life come together. It made me feel good about moving here. I just ask you for our safety, our home values, our economy, our state budget, to please tell Mr. McCrory to stop the tolls. Not just to halt them or to take time out, to stop it. It's just not worth it. Thank you.
It's one thing to walk the walk and another thing to talk the talk and show up and make the time. A project of this gravity should have been voted on by the citizens, in my opinion. I don't feel like it's fiscally responsible whatsoever for the taxpayers. And it's beyond me why we are allowing foreigners to come into this country and buy our roads and tax us to use them. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And it feels like we're selling out the community. It feels like we're selling out the country.
The big problem I have with the tolls is that, and I'd like to just ask everybody here, if I could see it. Tolls may cost up to $20 per person, per car, to drive down 8 o'clock in the morning, come home 5 o'clock at night. That's $100 a week. That's $4,000 to $5,000 per year for a person to drive downtown or to South Park to go to work. And I would just like to ask, who here has $4,000 to $5,000 per year extra to do your job and drive to work every year? Anybody have $4,000 to $5,000? Who's going to use the toll lanes? And when I see pictures on the internet, and I've done a bit of research, and I see photographs of toll lanes around the country, you see congestion on the public lanes, and you see just a few cars on the other lanes. And at $20 a pop a day, you're not going to see anything different here. That's why they're called Lexus lanes. And that's another problem. Why are we developing a road system for people who have more money and a lesser road system for people who don't? Can I have a chair up front if I pay $20, but I got to sit in the back if I don't? If I send my kids to a public school, do I get a smaller classroom with better teachers if I pay $4,000 more a year to CMS? Do I get better police and fire protection if I pay more, but my neighbor next to me, they don't pay, so maybe they don't get the same response time? There are certain public amenities that we all count on to survive in our country and in our community, and roads is one of them. You're not building a road to the beach for me to get there right away on the weekends. You're building the road that I need to survive, to get to the grocery store, to get to school, to get to work. That's what this road is. It's our public path that we all share. Don't divide it up into who has money and who doesn't. Thank you.
This will have to be the highest revenue generating toll road in the United States to make the numbers work. You know, how do I explain that to my 13-year-old son, who, by the time the tolls are finished being built, will finally get his driver's license, be of legal age to drive, and that's what he's going to be stuck with. He's going to be stuck with a 50-year, his entire driving life will be dealing with toll roads. Starting out at $10 one way, leading up to, you know, possibly $40 for round trip just for him to work.
These toll roads, that will be a 50-year contract. This is the evacuation route. I-77 is an evacuation route for 2 nuclear power stations. Why hasn't this been brought up as an issue? These toll roads will have flyovers that aren't accessible by everybody. The construction will take a lot longer. Not only that though, I think all of you guys should come together, hold a press conference, demand that Pat McCrory take executive action, widen the road immediately for the safety of these citizens in the greater Charlotte area. If everybody from Huntersville, Davidson, Morrisville, Charlotte comes together and brings this to his attention, goes in front of these news cameras over here, tells Mr. McCrory that this has to be stopped, this toll road plan has to be stopped, it'll take way too long to build it, and that the money that he's already got, that we've already paid as taxpayers through the gasoline tax, that should have already widened this evacuation route for 2 nuclear power stations. If you guys all come together, he won't be able to ignore you guys. And I would also point out that Tony Tata is an expert, the NCDOT chairman. He's an expert on terrorism. We have the threat of Iranian terrorism, ISIS, other terrorist organizations, even homegrown terrorism. And we've got 2 nuclear power stations. Duke Power should also, you guys should also reach out to Duke Power and say, Duke, you know, Pat McCrory is your guy. That's where he made his mark before politics. If Duke reaches out to Mr. McCrory, if you guys reach out to Mr. McCrory, there's no reason, I mean, it's unfathomable that the politics is being played with people's lives here. I mean, I know I keep coming back to this, but it is an evacuation route for 2 nuclear power stations. As the gentleman here earlier said, you know, how many years ago, we only needed 3,200 cars if you piled everybody into a car. And the idea that only those that are really close to the power station are going to flee, you know, where I'm coming from, it would be the Lake Wiley reactor that would send me coming up this way. But others, the McGuire one. What if both of them get hit at the same time? There is no way in the world that people are going to sit there in their homes because they say, well, you know, let these people evacuate first. It's not going to happen. The roads are going to be congested. It's a national security risk, and you guys need to stand up to Pat McCrory.
been a broken record really for 4 years in terms of this issue. I've always thought it's a profound policy mistake. Defies common sense and just a big misjudgment. And some of that was touched on by speakers earlier tonight. This is really a straightforward resolution that we've been drafting. The commissioners have been familiar with today, and we try to keep it fairly streamlined and fact-based. So let me just read it into the record. Whereas the final draft of the comprehensive agreement between the NCDOT and I-77 Mobility Partners, the developer, requires the NCDOT to compensate the developer if any future interstate improvement results in a decrease in toll revenues along the planned I-77 Hot Link corridor. And whereas the comprehensive agreement exempts improvements from this requirement if they are part of the transportation plan, and whereas the Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Organization added a project to widen Interstate 77 from exit 28 to exit 36 with general purpose lanes to their transportation plan, thereby exempting this improvement. And whereas the executed comprehensive agreement changed the terms to specifically exclude additional general purpose lanes from exit 28 to exit 36 from this exemption, and whereas neither town staff nor the town board were aware of this change, and based on knowledge and belief, CRTPO was not aware of this change. And whereas this change effectively prevents I-77 from being widened with general purpose lanes for the 50-year duration of the comprehensive agreement, and whereas the comprehensive agreement requires the developer to post a substantial security to be forfeited if the developer fails to achieve financial close by the required time, and whereas NCDOT and the developer have extended the financial close deadline 3 times, and maybe 4 times now, via contractual amendments without financial penalty to developer, including forfeiture of the financial close security deposit. And whereas the amendments require the financial costs incurred in extending the financial close security deposit to be borne by the taxpayer. And finally, whereas the comprehensive agreement is a binding 50-year contract with the potential to profoundly impact our region's transportation infrastructure, economic development, and quality of life, now therefore be it resolved, our Cornelius Town Board respectfully requests a 90-day deferral of NCDOT's financial close with the developer that's currently scheduled for May 27th, 2015, to allow for independent review and an audit of the comprehensive agreement terms and conditions.
I would hope that this document is delivered with gusto and immediacy, that we not just send it and hope they listen. We have to back it up with phone calls, back it up with any media we can find to have them read it, look at it, listen at it, and listen to the community, because the community is speaking.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional comments? Not hearing any additional comments, motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
If you appreciate videos like this, I would appreciate your support. And you can donate safe and securely at constitutionalwar.org. I thrive on your donations. They go away, so do videos like this. Please donate at constitutionalwar.org.